The asset management industry has hundreds of firms. There's very low barriers to entry, and yet there's very high margins, and they really can't work out why that is. And I think in many ways what they would like is for part of that margin to be given to the investor, or more of the margin to be given to the investor than kept by the companies. I mean, the companies, when they keep it, I mean, they use it for their own internal investment and so on and so forth. And I think that they think that if they put in INEDs and mandate them, then that will shift the balance of discussion within the fund companies. Why now? I think because the FCA was given a competition remit, and most of this work has been done under their competition powers, and so they're looking at the competitiveness of not just this industry but other industries. That's the first thing. The second thing, which lies in the background to everything we do, is auto-enrolment in pensions. And essentially, the government wouldn't put it like this, but the government has forced 11 million people to invest in pensions, i.e. use our industry, and therefore I think the government has a perfectly legitimate interest in making sure that the individuals get best value. One of the difficulties of the INED concept is that although they have specific responsibilities under the FCA regulations, they also have general responsibilities under company law. They have the same responsibilities as any other director. But they do have this specific responsibility for the assessment of value, and that certainly is aimed at the end investor. I think that phrase, critical friend, it is a good one, and the INED should find a good way of asking the difficult questions of the fund managers and the fund management board. But that's going to be the great skill, is producing a level of independence, but doing it in a way which is productive. Look and feel very closely how you're being treated by the company that you're thinking of joining. Are they open with you? Do they allow you to see and meet a broad range of executives? Ask if you can attend a board meeting before you actually join to see how it's conducted, because that's going to change if you get a lot of INEDs on it. Those are the main things. But also look at talk amongst your friends in the industry and find out what the reputation of the company is. Best thing that will come out of this is a professionalisation of fund management boards. And wherever you have a profession, you normally need training. The two go alongside each other. There may be some people who think they have very broad experience of board governance and what have you, but they may not know a great deal about fund management. They may know about fund management, but have never sat in what I call a proper board, with much more formality than you often get in executive boards. So I would recommend people to, really think seriously about getting some specialist training. First of all, they need to bring to the table an understanding of the business as a whole, which is why they need to talk to as many executives as they can. They are a director of the company before they're an INED. That's the first thing. The second thing is they are not executives, and sometimes it's quite difficult to sit on a board and not directly interfere in the day-to-day operations of the executive. It can be very tempting to do that. But I do think that what they can do is think outside the box, ask questions which are not being asked internally. And there may be very good reasons why they're not doing what you think they might be doing. But I think it is that constantly, politely, intelligently questioning what this company and what this fund board is doing. But I think one of the key things the INEDs should bring to it is diversity of thought and behaviours, actually, but particularly of thought. And therefore, the first answer on diversity is to have people who think differently. So when choosing INEDs, for example, you don't want clones. You don't want two very similar people. I think you need people who think differently, have different skill backgrounds, and so on and so forth. And within the more normal meaning of diversity, my own view is that women always bring diversity because they tend to think differently from men. So that's would be my argument for also looking for women on boards insofar as you can, and so on and so forth. And so it is a phrase we use quite often. It's cognitive diversity you're looking for. You're not just looking at gender or just race or ethnicity, but it is the different ways of thinking that I think are key.